Good evening, everyone. Back here at the garden. As you can probably tell from the lighting, the sun is beginning to set. With the time change, that means, it's about 4:30 in the evening. So probably have about 45 minutes left of light. Out here getting some last minute picking done. Black-eyed peas are done. Out here we have had a frost. I don't know exactly what day it was. Sometime obviously between the last video and this video. But let me see if I can show you. So if you see, that's where these leaves have just burnt. So frost got to them, and the ones that I had left on here just didn't fill out any further. So I could probably go through and pick maybe a handful, but that seems silly to me, so I'm not going to bother today. Except I just found a patch of a couple big ones, so I'll hold on to them for seed. Green beans, I just went through and picked what was left of them. They're definitely on their last leg. Like I said last time, they're not blooming anymore, so what was on them is what has filled out, and that's all we have left. Butter beans, at this point, I do not expect to have any harvestable butter beans. They are still kind of blooming, but they've made a bunch of pods, and yet again, have not filled out. Let me find you. So, let me find you some so I can show you. Oh, there's one. So, they're making nice, pretty pods, but if you'll look, see how skinny that is? Those would be very tiny butter beans and not worth me picking. So, they're just going to be ground cover for now. The volunteers are in the same boat. They also made lots of pods and didn't produce anything. So, butter beans will definitely be a project plant for me next year to see if I can figure out why in the world these pods won't fill out. So, if you want to know if you have the same kind of problem, follow along, subscribe, and we'll see if we can figure it out next year. If you come down here, you'll remember our little baby squash plants. See that beautiful sunset over the weeds? The little squash plants down here are regenerating out of the center. And I actually was able to pick a squash. There's one trying to get bigger, and there's one down there. The squash bugs are all gone. They have gone in the ground or debris piles or wherever it is that they go to hibernate for the winter. And they'll be back, I'm sure. So, our sweet potatoes, you'll see their vines. There's one way over here. They're going around over here, over here. They keep on going. And they go all the way over there. They just have gone crazy. They really have been liking this cooler weather. But interestingly, we have some sort of pest in here, and I'm not sure what it is. But it's been flipping over the sweet potato vines. You'll see this one here as well. It's not pulling them out of the ground, and it's not eating them. So I can't figure why it would just flip them over. So, if you've had the same problem and you have figured it out, please let me know, because I have no idea what would do that or why. The marigold hedge, still looking gorgeous. It was full of pollinators about 30 minutes ago, but now the sun's gone down enough, it's gotten too cool and they've gone to their homes. Come down here and you'll see our cotton. These big plants still haven't opened up their cotton boils. These down here, the ones that fell over earlier in the year, are pretty much all open. So I need to come and harvest these. I'm not going to do it today, but you'll see they're just about everywhere here. I'll show you. Pretty cool. And you can use those exactly like you do commercial cotton balls. They are ready to go. They don't need any processing other than to take the seeds out. Next, over here, we see the, if you can with the sun, the basil, the marigolds. Peppers are pretty much done. I got the last 2 peppers off today. Pimentos, I think everything's pretty much done. Thai basil's still looking gorgeous. The cucumber's still hanging out, but it's not blooming anymore, so I don't expect to get any cucumbers. Just picked a whole bunch of green tomatoes. They won't make it through the frost. Well, through the freeze that we're expecting now. We've had frost out here. A very, very light frost. If you'll look, and I know the sun's in your eyes, but see how tall, all the way up here, those zinnias got. See them all the way over here. That is a zinnia. About, I'd say 7.5 feet up in the air. But anyways, back to my tomatoes. I picked a whole bunch of green tomatoes. The plants are still blooming, interestingly. And we have had some pollinators going around. So if it does happen to get warmer and we don't happen to freeze really hard, maybe something will happen, but I really doubt it. I'll get out here and harvest some seeds off of these zinnias, a whole bunch of seeds off of those marigolds. Today I spent a lot of time picking peas, green peas off of these. And I will say, from what I can tell, and this is just my little experiment here, the ones that were trellised, that are up on these stakes and fence, are filling out faster. So I can harvest them sooner than I missed one. I can harvest them sooner than the ones that are laying on the ground. Looks like I missed quite a few. Oops. I have to watch because there's a bunch of caterpillars in here. And if you've ever been stung by a caterpillar, it makes you really gun shy. Because it really, really hurts. And it's not something, how did I miss so many? It's not something that you want to have happen more than once. So if you'll see, I actually can probably show you one of these caterpillars. Let's see here. I just found so many that I had missed. But anyways, talking about my trellis, I got distracted. They're definitely filling out faster on the trellis. The plants look healthier, and I expect to be able to harvest from them longer. The ones on the ground, you'll see, so their root system is all the way over there, but their plant is all the way over here. And so it makes it easier to accidentally step on their root system. It also means you can only harvest from over here because you can't really reach from over there. And their first sets of peas are laying on the ground, because a lot of times the way that peas work is that they will bloom from the bottom up, and therefore they will start filling out, and what I mean by that is that these pods will get thicker and your peas will form better. So see that? It actually forms a pea versus something thin like that. So that's what I mean by filling out, but they will fill out from the bottom up. So you'll pretty much harvest at the bottom first and then work your way up. So with these that are laying on the ground, there's probably more peas in there, but they're on the ground and mixed up in debris and plant matter, and I don't want to dig around in there too much and break the plants up. So there may be just as many over there. I just can't tell. But I would say as far as picking them, up on the trellis is way easier. And I do think they look like healthier plants. So note to self, make sure I come back out and actually put them all up on a trellis like they're supposed to be. Don't cut corners because it'll be worse in the long run. I was going to find you one of these caterpillars, which I saw one. Wow, I missed a bunch of peas. When I was picking them earlier, the sun was right in my face. And so I shouldn't have been picking them then, obviously, because now I get to pick them twice. But it's okay. You can leave your peas on and just harvest them all at once. So you can wait until you've decided you're done looking at the plants, and you can just pull up the entire plant and take all your peas off. But I don't want to do that because I want to see how many harvests I can get. And if you leave them on there, your plant will start producing fewer and fewer and fewer. So I'm just going to keep picking them. But anyways, we were looking for that caterpillar, and I had almost stuck my hand on him just a second ago. But there was about, I'd say 8 or 10 of them in here. Here's one right here. Actually, here's 2. Check him out. And his friend on the other side. I think they're 2 identical ones. Let's see if we can see the other one. Oh yeah, they're the same. And I don't know if this particular one stings or bites, but I don't want to find out. So I'm leaving him alone, letting him do his thing. He doesn't seem to be harming anything other than I think he has eaten the leaf that he's on. But I'm hoping it's cold enough that he's going to go away and not be a problem soon. Otherwise, the plants look great. They're full of blooms, as you can see all those little white things. Peas have very distinct and beautiful blooms. Kind of looks like a peacock, I guess you could say. Which is probably something to do with their names. But anyways, that's where we're at. You'll see my volunteer corn still hanging out over there. There's actually a pretty nice one over here. They won't do anything. They won't actually make corn, but I'm just letting them be. They're not hurting anything. We did have some geese visitors a little while ago. They were over eating the neighbor's corn across the road there. And I tried to get you some video of them doing it, but they caught on to me. They saw me catch them, and so they took off across back to their house. But I will show you that footage, as they have been quite entertaining this summer. But anyways, this looks a hot mess. It doesn't look as bad in person. But let's go over here where you can look at the beautiful marigolds instead of the mess in the weeds. But yeah, so not a whole lot to talk about today. Look at those really pretty red and orange ones right there. Not a whole lot to add today. Pretty simple, just keeping up with the little baby harvests that are happening. I can show you what I did harvest today, because I tend to forget that. I'll tell you, but I don't show you. So half a peck of green beans. So this is a peck, and this is a bushel basket. You can see them side by side. So half a peck of green beans, 2 pimentos, 1 little squash, some little radishes, a whole bunch of green tomatoes, My mom likes to do fried green tomatoes, so I got these for her. And then the first of our peas, which I need to get all the ones out of my pocket that I picked while I was talking to you. And there's a couple purple peas there. But yeah, that's where we're at. The next things for me to do are take up this irrigation, which I've already unhooked it from the water, but I need to let it drain really well before this freeze comes. I don't want to break any fittings or burst any lines or anything like that, so I will get that drained and put away. If I find a good way to do that, I'll show you how I do it. But if not, just picture a giant ball of yarn that a cat likes to play with. That's probably what it's going to look like. So getting the irrigation up, getting it drained, and put away. And then I'll probably take the mower and go over all of this plant matter and get it nice and clean and down to the ground, to have some ground cover for the winter. Harvest seeds of things that are left, get all of the cotton up, and keep my peas going back there. They may be able to go all winter, we'll see. And check on my giant, you probably can just see it, potato that's still hanging out down there. Also need to harvest those sweet potatoes that are down there. So definitely plenty to do, but things have slowed down and shifted gears. Just time for the next season of the garden. Hopefully you've enjoyed these different videos and series. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too much. I try to make sure I tell you everything I can without boring you to death. I didn't have a whole lot of science to share with you today. I do still have the soil test results for here that I need to go over and show you if you're interested, and explain what I'm going to do with those results and how I'm going to change things going forward. Then it'll be starting to look at seed catalogs and what to plant next year and what sort of things I need to do in preparation. I still would like to have permanent beds here, kind of like a market garden where you have your 30-inch bed and it's there all the time and you have permanent walkways in between. But I don't know that that's going to happen next year. Things are kind of up in the air, so we'll see what happens. If I do that, then I'll definitely bring you along and show you. But it may just be that we till this in and traditional farm again like we did this year, which you can't complain. We had a great year. Did have some pest problems, but had excellent harvest for most things. I have a full pantry and a full freezer, which is wonderful going into winter. But anyways, thanks for coming along. Thanks for being here. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. Thanks for those who have subscribed. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope I am keeping you entertained. If there are things that you'd like to see, certain categories, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I do still have a video coming where I've roasted peanuts, but I tried them one way and I didn't like that method, so I did film that method for you guys, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the product, so I probably won't show you that, and I'm going to try another way, and then depending on how that goes, show you guys how that goes. So it's getting really chilly here. It's probably about 60 degrees right now. Sun's going down, getting further and further. The rooster says it's time to get up, but I'll leave you with the sounds of the farm and the sounds of the neighboring farm animals. and the bugs in the background. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.